Hello, friends, and welcome to the Friend Leigh Show. I am your host and friend, Leigh. Okay, so this is the last week of the surrender series that we've been doing. And so, it being the last week, we're going to be focusing on youthfulness. And I've decided that today we're really going to be diving into youthfulness and surrender, but when we're tired, things just feel heavy and you feel drained. Um, and so I think it's going to be a really good conversation because for me, it's really timely. And I think it's so important for us to be able to ask questions like, how can I access youthfulness when life just feels heavy, when you feel tired, when you feel drained? Because a lot of people feel that way right now. And when we think of youthfulness, a lot of the time we think that it's this high energy, playful, I'm on the playground, I'm a child kind of fun time. But it doesn't have to be that. It can be soft, it can be gentle, it can be listening and honoring your body. And that also is youthful. It's good for your body. So, I want to dive in here, talk about what it's going to look like for us just to allow life to unfold the way that it's meant to unfold. We've been talking about it all month long that, you know, it's hard to surrender, especially when life is not giving you the plan that you thought you were going down, the plan of what you thought life was supposed to be like. It's hard to surrender to it. And that resistance, that fight, actually makes it harder. And so, if we are able to have more of a youthful, curious spirit around it, then that will help lighten the load, especially the mental load, when we're having those heavy moments. And it might not be a heavy season. It might not even be heavy with, if anybody looked or you said out loud what you're going through, it may not even be something super heavy. It's just you're feeling drained. And so everything feels heavy, if that makes sense. It doesn't have to be anything grand. It can just be you're not ready to take on the day that day. That's okay. But if we can stop asking what's wrong with us, what's going on, and start surrendering into what is, it will allow us to get out of these moments sooner. And so, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling overwhelmed or stretched, or maybe you're not feeling that way right now, but you have this pending feeling that that's coming as December starts rolling around. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving in America, and that is the start of holiday season. And for a lot of people, that is a fun season. It's a fun holiday. It's a great month. And it's a stressful, overwhelming, draining month. And both of those can be at the same time. And so I would love for you to be a part of this conversation now, and then also watch it in the replay later on when you need it, because I have gone through and kind of brainstormed some things that are just very simple actions that we can take when things feel heavy and hard and drained and we don't have the energy to come at things with a lot of pizzazz. What can we do? And what you're going to notice through this episode is I can already feel it right now. My energy is already starting to lift from where I've been the last couple hours. The last couple hours I've been really kind of tired and drained because I've been allowing my brain to sit in what's happening instead of allowing what's happening. But I can feel that I'm starting to get more energy because I love this show. This is one of my passion projects. This is one of my ways of going into act into my purpose. And so I can already feel I'm starting to have that joy come over me. And so you have to decide what that is for you. I can't tell you what that is. I can't tell you to go start a podcast because that's the answer for you. It might not be. But you'll know the things that when you're in it and once you go into it, you're not able to feel drained because it brings life back into you. And doing more of those things are really, really important. So I just want to see if anybody is here. There are. Okay. So I do not see comments, which is totally fine. I can see you guys watching. So hello, hello. Let me know also where you're watching from. If you're watching from, because we stream over on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I would love to hear where you're tuning in from. And also, I do want to give the disclaimer right now that I am not a healthcare professional in any means. So anything that you hear tonight or in any of the episodes or conversation that arises from our live chat after this segment, please know that it's here for entertainment and education purposes. And if you hear anything that you think, oh man, it sounds like she's diagnosing me, or it sounds like she's giving me treatment that I could actually use, I am not. I don't know your situation. I don't know you personally. So please bring anything that you're curious about to your healthcare professional. Okay, so that's it. So some of the things that I put together that I think would work even when we're tired are really simple things like the micro awe. Those are when you look at something super ordinary, but you look at them for and try to find the beauty in the detail of it. So it might be the sky, and you can look up at the sky and you see it every day. It's there every day. But if you look up for just a few seconds and look and see, look at the clouds. Can you make a picture out of the clouds? Are they moving fast? Are they moving slow? Are there no clouds in the sky? Can you not see the sky because the clouds are so heavy that they look like a pillow that goes right across? Take a few seconds and look at the awe of something by looking at the beauty in just the detail of those little things. And that moment will reduce the pressure in your body, because no matter what you're thinking, no matter what you're going through, when you're in awe, you're not able to be in any other feeling. We can only feel a feeling at a time, one feeling at a time. You can't feel happy and sad at the exact same time. You actually can't think two thoughts at the same time. You can't think a happy and a sad thought at the same time. What we can do is we can quickly change from a happy thought to a sad thought, and it can feel like we're thinking them at the same time, or that we're feeling the thing at the same time, but we're not. It's just this second and this second, they're right next to each other. They feel very close. But in any moment, you can only feel and think one thing at a time. And so in that moment, you're actually giving your nervous system a break. You're giving your heart and your mind a break. And so the longer that you can look up at that sky and see the beauty, or you can look at a tree and look at the tree bark. And if you've ever looked at tree bark, how much depth is in there and how many shapes are in there, get curious. So that's one thing, is looking for the micro awes. And that it will restore so much inside of you and give you a little bit more energy. Then also coming from that, having that curiosity instead of the demanding of ourselves. So we tend to, and I'll speak for myself, you want to show up in a certain way. And I talk about it all the time, that when you wake up in the morning, you get to decide, how do you want to show up, right? Like, how do I want to show up today? And what we can do is, as the day is unfolding, you may not show up the way that you intended to. And unfortunately, a lot of us will go into, oh, what is wrong with me? I'm doing it again. What's wrong with me? Why do I feel this way? And instead of having that self-demanding kind of attitude towards yourself, you can be gently curious. And you could even say the same thing. Why am I feeling this way? But instead of, ugh, why do I always feel this way? You can say, why do I feel this way? And just that curiosity instead of that inner critic It's the exact same words, but it's a softness. It allows us to open up and actually answer the question in a curious way, not in a shameful way. And so we can start doing that surrender a lot more peacefully, and it'll open up a lot more. Where if you're feeling this way and you keep saying, oh, I'm always this way, or what is wrong with me, you're not actually going to find a way of moving through it and maybe not having that feeling as much in the future. You're just going to be reminding yourself that you always feel this way, and that's your identity. And you're going to build that identity the more that you have those kind of feelings. The next thing is permission to do something pointless. And this I'm finally learning, but all through my 20s, even my teens, and into my 30s, everything needed to have a usefulness. So instead of being youthful, I always needed to be useful. And if you can be more youthful and play and just do things not because it's productive, not because you're improving, not because you're hitting a goal, just because it's pleasant, in that moment, it also softens you and it allows you to open up. And yeah, if you're goal oriented, if that's the way that you are, I love hitting a goal. I love improving. I love growing. And they say if you're not growing, you're dying. We need to constantly be growing and improving. It's what we're meant for. But we don't have to be growing and improving in every single second. And if we're curious, if we're playful, we can actually be growing in that. That's the pause that allows us to move forward faster. The next thing is that should is a word that we really should get out of our vocabulary. Because if we are saying, I should get up and do more, I should go and do this, I should, they say you're shoulding all over yourself, right? Should is somebody else is telling me, whether it's the society in a whole, it's somebody is telling me that I should be doing this. And even if they're correct, even if they know better for you, that you should be going and working out, you should be getting to your job on time, you should be getting your sleep. All these should be's, they don't feel good. We go back to our childlike behavior that we start saying, I don't want to do that. That doesn't feel good. Don't tell me what to do. But if you say, I could go to bed earlier tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna just try that. I could do that. I could go to work earlier. Yeah, I could work out today. I think I could fit that in. I think I'm gonna try to work out today. That softness, that play, no kid is saying, I should go and color. I should go and do this. They feel like they want to do it and they go and do it. So changing just that word should and changing it to I get to, I want to, or I could changes everything mentally. You will release that resistance around it. And it can be the exact same thing that somebody is telling you what to do because it's good for you. You can either resist it and say, I should do that. I know I have to do that. And it's going to make it hard. Or you can choose that it's your choice because it's good for you. You want to do it. You get to do it. You could do it. The next thing is tiny play. So we've talked about this before. Every month we talk about youthfulness, and we talk about people think that youthfulness, we have to take 4 hours out of our day and go and do something fun. We have to go to the zoo, or we have to, play hooky, or we have to do this big thing in order for this to feel like something really grand, right? I'm going to feel like a child again because I'm going to just take the whole weekend off. The truth of the matter is that we don't have to be doing anything grand. Play actually restores our access to joy, even in our fatigue, if we do just little things. You're doing laundry, you could roll up your socks in a ball and shoot them into the laundry basket. That little bit of just playfulness It doesn't take much more time. It's not a big thing. You're not going to the basketball court and playing a whole game. You're just having fun with it. Even just doodling, even just humming, organizing your markers or organizing your spices, or just having fun in the moment of doing something, that is enough to restore our access to joy. So tiny play doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be loud, it doesn't even have to be social. It can just be something that you're doing that's fun. You can also let life choose something for you. So we just did in book club this month, we did the surrender experiment, which if you have not read it, read it. It is such a good book. So in that whole book, he recounts all of these moments where he allowed life to unfold and he let life choose what he was going to do. And it life gave him more than he could ever plan for. And so you could just say, what is life bringing to me right now that doesn't require effort? What could I just step into? And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. In the beginning, it might not feel natural, but you can just do those in the little ways. And you could do that the way he started was just with the weather. If it was cold outside, if it was hot outside, if it was raining outside, it didn't matter what it was. He took his personal preference away from it, because that's where a lot of our suffering comes from, is our personal preference to things. I don't like the way it tastes. I don't like the way it smells. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like it doesn't matter. Those are all personal preferences that we've built throughout our years. And when we keep reinforcing the things that we don't like, it just reinforces it. Even if our taste buds have changed, even if our preferences have changed, we don't allow ourselves to change because we are building an identity around those things that at one time we didn't like. If we allow life to choose things for us, like the weather, and we can just go in there and say, look at that, it's raining. Look at that, it's sunny. We don't have to say, oh, of course it's raining. I have so many errands to do, right? So that is one of the things that he started for the surrender, and it turned into these massive things that ended up happening for their life. But in the beginning, he just started with releasing his personal preference. The next thing is drop the armor just for 30 seconds. You don't have to do it forever. You don't have to just go into joy always. You don't have to soften. You don't have to do it all night, all day, all week. This is the new me. 30 seconds. Give your 30 seconds of just unclenching your jaw. Just 30 seconds of just relaxing your eyes. Just 30 seconds to do your physiological sigh. In one more time, and out. That's it. That signals safety in our body. And when we have safety in our body, that allows us to have youthfulness. That allows us to have play. That allows us to see things in a way that, how can I get this done? How can this work out for me? But if we're constantly feeling like we're not safe, we're not going to be able to find creative solutions to our problems. The next thing is, remember one thing that you loved as a child. And that's not something you can go recreate it. If you want to, fine, that's great. But even just the memory alone will lift the heaviness. So your body, your brain doesn't know if you're recounting something from the past that was fun and joyful, or if you're actually engaging in it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between makeup and like make believe and real life. That's why worry is so powerful, because your body thinks whatever you're worrying about in the future, you're actually experiencing right now. So cortisol goes up, your amygdala gets fired up and says, okay, we've got to either fight this or we've got to flee this. We've got to do something to get away from this danger. The same thing happens for joy. Your body and your brain doesn't know, are you experiencing joy right now, or are you remembering joy right now? And so just remembering something that you loved as a kid or as a teenager, it allows you to be able to just lift that heaviness. And that's why music is so powerful. If you can put a station on or a song on from your childhood or from your teens, in that moment, you can soften your body and relax your nervous system. Another thing you can do that is super simple is let someone else go first. Let somebody else choose a movie, suggest the walk, pick the tea. You don't have to make all the decisions yourself. You can let somebody else choose what you're going to do and then just do it. It's kind of like the thing that we talked about, letting life unfold. So the surrender in that would be in the partnership with the people that are around you. And then the last one is saying maybe instead of saying no. There's a lot of times, like in the book, he was talking about saying yes and saying, I will do this, and surrendering to it. And there's a book called The Year of Yes. And a lot of people talk about saying yes to everything. And it's really good. It's a really cool experience to be able to do that, because whatever's coming in front of you, if you say yes to it, you have no idea what that yes is going to turn into. However, sometimes it's scary to say yes. And so saying maybe softens it. And when we're tired, when we're going through hard times, adults, we default to no, not now. I don't have the capacity. I don't have the time. I don't want to do it. No. Youthfulness defaults to maybe. And all of a sudden it opens up the ability to be able to say, maybe I'll try that. And maybe I'll try that can turn into, yeah, let's do it, way faster than saying, no, I'm not doing it. So there's a possibility there. So those are 10 of the things that I put together. It took a lot longer. I thought I was going to kind of like just reel through them. But I think they were super, super important. Oh, I see like hands up. Okay, so there's thumbs up here. I love you guys so much. I don't know if the comments are not working. Pops is here. He says, I forgot again. I'm so sorry. It is okay. Hello. So you missed the whole thing. This was a good one. You really should, Pops, watch this in the replay. I'm probably going to. It was a really good one. And it was because I needed it. And I just kind of journaled before this podcast of the things that I can start doing for me. And I just wanted to share it with you guys, because I think that going into December, I think a lot of us are going to be able to use these things because they don't take a long time and they're going to open us up to a lot more possibility. And we were talking inside of the happy school about, we have in January, it's a new year, new me. And it's because a lot of the time we lose ourselves in December. We're doing everything for everybody else. We're doing everything for everything else, for tradition, for expectation, for all of this. We lose ourselves. And then January pops up and then we say, okay, you know what? This is the year that I take care of myself. This is the year. But what if we just didn't lose ourselves in December? What if we did all the small little actions to take care of ourselves? Because it doesn't take a lot. And maybe if we did some of that, we wouldn't feel so tired at the end of December. We would actually feel more alive. So let's do, Pop, since you're here, and there are a couple other eyeballs. So let's do 2 quick questions because we're almost at the end anyway. Let's do 2 quick questions. Let me just open ChatGPT because I had them ask me a couple questions because I like to answer these. So let's just take the first 2 and I will put them in here, and then we'll just do 2 questions, and then we'll see how they come. And then I think that will be it. And then you guys can get ready for Thanksgiving if you're American. There's question 1, and here is question 2. So question 1 is, when you're tired, what version of play actually feels accessible to you? Is that what I just said? Or did I have that in hold on one second. Yeah, when you're tired, what version of play actually feels accessible to you? And then number 2 is, what would youthfulness feel like or look like if it didn't require energy, only softness? Okay. So Pop says one would be watching racing on Twitch. Does that count? Yes, that counts. So the question was, when you're tired, what version of play actually feels accessible to you? That absolutely counts. And that brings you joy, and it doesn't have to be anything. So yes, Pops, at the beginning of this, we were talking about it doesn't have to be this big, grand thing. Youthfulness is just something that's going to make us feel lighter. And so, yeah, absolutely, your eye racing absolutely works for that. For me, when I'm tired, my version of play that actually feels accessible is just looking around at things and looking for the beauty. I find that I start like daydreaming a lot because I don't feel like an energy, like I'm going to go and, run around, or I'm going to go and do something. But the other thing is that when I do say, you know what, I'm going to go out just for 5 minutes and get some fresh air, if I have the energy and I'm able to do that, that actually builds my energy. It gets me super excited. And then I'm able to actually kind of get out of that funk that I was in. It only takes me 5 minutes usually, but it's not always accessible to me. Not always, but daydreaming does. So number two, the question was, what would youthfulness look like if it didn't require energy, only softness? And Pop says, streaming racing for 24 hours on a subathon. Oh, that's cool. That would be really cool. That's awesome. That does not feel like that would require a lot of energy. I feel like doing anything for 24 hours feels like it would be a lot of energy. But if not, if that just feels like that would be empowering and engaging for you, and you wouldn't need a lot of energy, then that's awesome. What would youthfulness look like if it didn't require energy, only softness? I feel like for me, it's gonna sound it's gonna sound like, yeah, you need a lot of energy, but I think being outdoors for me, I could just do that all day long. Um, and sometimes, and what I have done before is, let me just see. Pop says, a lot of mental energy. Imagine doing this podcast for 24 hours. I know, I don't know that my voice could take it. But that's another thing that I said at the beginning of the show, is that my energy level will start increasing as we're doing the show. And it did, because it is life giving. It does feel really good. And so it's probably the same thing with you, Pops, doing the eye racing. But for me, so what would youthfulness look like if it didn't require energy, only softness? It would just be outside. And so, like, going for a walk, and there's been times that I've started going for a walk and then I was like, this is just too much. I can't actually bring myself to continue. And I just laid on the grass and watched the clouds and just grounded in the grass. And that feels good. It gives me more energy and I can kind of keep going. So there really is a softness around being in nature or just being. And like I said, we don't always have to be useful. We can just be youthful. So I am so happy that you guys were here. Britt, thank you so much for commenting. Whoever else you guys are watching without commenting, totally fine. But next week, come on back and comment, be a part of the show. And next month, we are in book club. We are doing a book. It's called Whatever Arises. Love that. And I'm really excited for all of the things that are inside of there. And to tie into that, the series that we're going to be doing next month is Radical Compassion. So we did months ago Radical Acceptance. We're going to be doing Radical Compassion. How do we bring compassion to all 5 pillars? So it's going to be really, really good. I hope that you are able to come back live. Make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, you go ahead and subscribe. I always forget to do that with the shows that I love. But go ahead and actually hit subscribe, hit the bell, and every time that I go live, you will get the notification. Britt. And then even if you want to watch it somewhere else, if you prefer watching it through the Facebook platform or the Twitch platform, at least you'll get the reminder from YouTube. So go ahead and do that. I love you guys so much. If you are American, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Britt, please let Mel know that I wish her a happy Thanksgiving too. And I will see you guys next week, or I will see you inside a happy school tonight or tomorrow. Okay, bye guys.